On behalf of the students of Bibb County, I welcome you to a day filled with positive energy, designed to capture the best thinking of our community, leading to the development of a strategic plan that will ensure high levels of learning for every child. What we are a part of today has never been done in the United States. The gathering of approximately 4,000 people to focus on designing a system of public education to serve the students of today and to realize outcomes that exceed the outcomes of students anywhere in the world. Through the use of technology, including live streaming, Facebook, and Twitter, and because of the worldwide connections of our facilitators today, the Company of Experts, the world is watching us. As we experience the challenges and the rewards of the day ahead, we have the opportunity to live into the future we want for our children. A future filled with passion and enthusiasm, with hope, and with results. Your presence here today is not only appreciated, but needed. Your voice is important. Dr. Dallemand has chosen this process, one very different than most strategic planning processes, to ensure that those most invested in our children are active participants in developing the solutions to the challenges that we face. We're grateful to have individuals and groups demonstrating their commitment to the students of Bibb County through their participation in this event. We have city and county officials, representatives from the State Superintendent's Office, representatives from the Georgia Department of Education, local superintendents, current and former Board of Education members, community members and partners, guests invited by our school sites, and of course, the valuable employees of the Bibb County Public Schools. Thank you for actively contributing to our efforts to better serve our students by being here today. We have an exciting day ahead of us, and time is short. So I'm going to move forward with introducing our first speaker. We are fortunate to begin our day with a visionary man committed to the students in Bibb County, Dr. Romain Dallemand.
Good morning. To all of our educators, I would like to ask you 3 simple but meaningful questions. 3 simple but meaningful questions. First, why did you choose to become an educator? Why did you choose to become an educator? Second, why are you still in the education profession? And third, at the end of the day, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Why did you choose to become an educator? Why are you still in the education profession? And at the end of the day, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Every organization is perfectly designed for the results it gets. Every organization is perfectly designed for the results it gets. That is true for everything you can imagine. For example, we wanted to be able to transport people from one place to another and cargo. We designed airplanes for that very purpose. We wanted to have chairs at barbershops that would meet the needs of having someone sitting comfortably and getting a haircut. And we designed chairs for that specific purpose. But what about education? For the past 3 to 4 decades, there's been many conversations around education. Conversations about how education is so broken and we have to fix it. The question is public education broken? Is public education broken? According to Stratford Hall, Teacher Resources on Colonial Education, education was designed to educate boys, and girls were subjected to learn to assume duties of the mistresses of a plantation. Girls were not prepared to go into higher education because some of the more challenging subjects were considered not to be important for girls in those days. Children of poor families did not receive an education either. They used to receive 3 to 10 years of apprenticeship to help them survive the colonial life. That is where education received its foundation. A system that was not designed to educate all students. And over the years, we have been investing millions of dollars trying to fix a system that is not broken. Education is designed to give the results it gets. So if we need better results, we need to design a different system. What kind of results do we have in Bibb County? Last year, in just 1 year, we expelled nearly 500 students. Nearly 500 students were expelled from our system. Youngsters who ended up on the streets. Youngsters who ended up without getting the education that they needed in order to be prepared for their future. Last year, we suspended nearly 8,000 students. The number of suspensions went over 22,000. But 8,000 youngsters got suspended from our system last year. And just within the first 30 days of school, from August 9th to September 7th, we had 763 suspensions. Last year, we had 532 youngsters who were identified as homeless, and it is my understanding that number has increased by 25% this year. We have approximately 1,000 youngsters who have at least one parent incarcerated. And as far as our graduation rate is concerned, we went back 4 years ago. We look at our 9th grade cohort back in 2007 and 2008. Last year, we counted to see how many of those youngsters ended up with a diploma in their hands. Comes to 44.6%. I want for you to think of it this way. Last year, we graduated less than 50% of our students. What it means is that if you have a class with 20 students, only half of those youngsters, only half of them have the opportunity of realizing their dreams. That is a major concern for me. I have 2 children in the system, and I want for both of them to graduate. So, in 1 year, just last year, when we look at our dropouts, we had 703 youngsters who left our system. 703 students who dropped out last year. The way school districts are funded, we have federal dollars, local tax dollars, but we also receive revenue from the state. We receive $5,900 per pupil. And losing 703 youngsters at $5,900 per pupil comes to $4.15 million in state revenue that we lost. Ladies and gentlemen, this equals to 64 teachers. You see, when we lose students, we lose revenue, which means we have fewer resources to educate the youngsters we have who are remaining with us. Earlier I mentioned that education was not broken. What do I mean by that? Well, if we go back to 1973 and we look at the workforce, the jobs that we had in this country back in 73, we found that 32% of the jobs we had were for individuals who didn't have a high school diploma. So 32% of the jobs were available for folks who dropped out of schools. 40% of the jobs we had in this country were for individuals who had a high school diploma. So back in 73, up to 72% of the jobs were available for folks with up to a high school diploma. 12% of the jobs were for individuals with an associate degree. 9% of the jobs were for folks with a bachelor's degree. And 7% of the jobs were for individuals who had an advanced degree. And we started to see a shift in the workforce, a shift in the economy. In 1992, only 10% of the jobs were available for individuals who had dropped out of school, from 32%. In 2007, the decline continues, where you can see that even those with only a high school diploma had fewer opportunities available to them. The prediction for 2018 is that 10% of the jobs we're going to have by 2018 will be jobs that individuals without a high school diploma can access. 28% of the jobs will be available for individuals with a high school diploma to access. 17% of the jobs will be available for individuals with some form of a post-secondary education. And if I can get this to work, I will tell you the rest of the story. 12% of the jobs will be available for individuals with an associate degree. 23% of the jobs will be available for folks with a bachelor's degree, and 10% for folks with a post-secondary education. Now, if you look at this chart, what you see is that the economy has shifted totally from the 70s to the present. Back in the 70s, it was perfectly fine to have a high school diploma and move on and get a very lucrative job and live a very decent middle-class life. But with technology and innovation, the economy has shifted. The workforce has drastically changed. And if we are to remain competitive, we need to prepare our youngsters to meet the new demands of this 21st century economy. This is what's going on in Bibb County. Remember earlier I said 44.6% was our graduation rate. So we have 55% of our students who are dropping out. And what we have is a situation where 55% of our students are competing for 10% of the jobs. 55% of our students are competing for only 10% of the jobs. That is what's hurting our community. Our students are not prepared to compete in this economy. And if we want to change the results, tweaking the system is not the solution. We need to build a new system. We need to have a system. If we're serious at preparing our students to compete, where at least 97% of our youngsters walk away with a diploma. This is what I need from you today. I want for all of you to participate. I want for you to be present. I strongly believe that you have a lot of great ideas, and we want to hear them today. I want for you to help us to build this new system. because it will be your system. And what you have to share matters tremendously. I want for you to develop ownership of this plan that we're going to create. A plan that I strongly believe will be the Macon miracle. I want for you to be committed to implementing this plan with fidelity and enthusiasm. And I want for you to maintain a positive focus. We do have a lot of obstacles. Yes, we do, and I know that we do. I know that when we have youngsters who have to go back to some of the environments that we all know of, it is very hard for those students to come back the next day and focus on learning. Today is not a day to focus on all of the negativity. Today is a day to generate positive ideas so we can minimize or eliminate all of the obstacles that are preventing our students from moving forward. For example, if we have students we know who don't have the adequate home that can support their education, ideas would be, why can't we work together with the city, the county, DFACS, and others to build dormitories or boarding homes where we can keep our students and give them the right education that they need and give them the right support so they can be successful. I am looking for positive and creative ideas. In closing, I want to close with my favorite poem, which we have a small technical difficulty you won't see on the screen, but it's a good thing. It's one of my favorite poems, called Isn't It a Bag of Tools by R.L. Sharp. It says, isn't it strange that princes and kings and clowns that caper in sawdust rings and common people like you and me are builders for eternity? Each is given a shapeless mass, a bag of tools, and a book of rules. And each must build a lifeless flower, a stumbling block, or a stepping stone. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, we are here today to build stepping stones. We are here today to change the direction of this district and the direction of this county. We are here today to create a system that will give our students a better future. We are here today to protect our very own future because we will have to live in this community. We are here today to give our students the world. Thank you very much.